So thank you so much for your presence today here. It's really great to join in the Rebirth Sessions. This is the first actual meeting that we have, say, that isn't an introduction. And so it's great that you're part of it, that you decided to join. And yeah, there's a reason for that. Sure, there's a reason for joining. So there's a recognition of what is being offered, and but that in itself is very joyous. To recognize something that you actually resonate with is quite something. You know, it's like, oh yes, here is something that is there. I recognize. I don't exactly what it is, but I really want to be, say, yeah, diving into it. I want to discover something. And you will, for sure. I can guarantee you that. So today we have a session, the Rebirth session, with the title, Without Your Joy. Like, without your joy, it would be incomplete. So this is always a good reminder. Without your joy, it is like as if there's no sun. So this is the invitation, say, for you to recognize that your joy is coming from within. It doesn't need anything, and it is already yours. So it's, in terms of attainment, it is already yours. So apparently, if you don't experience this the whole day, like, or at times deeply, it is like you have to, what I got out of it, just a sec, I heard a sound here, excuse me. So it's like, if you don't experience that, or think that you don't experience that, there must be something in the way. And yeah, well, there you have something. It's like, okay, yeah, I want to take a look at that. It's like, what would be in the way? Can there possibly be something in the way? Or am I just making that up in a certain sense? Am I actually believing that there's another me that is not totally joyous? And so this has everything to do with self-realization. But then in a way, say the self-realization in a way that you haven't realized yourself to be. That sounds a bit mysterious, but it's great to actually see this. It's like all the definitions that you held about yourself, all the descriptions that you gave yourself, all the things that you term as being you, is actually not what you are. So you know this. Of course, you have heard this before. And so to recognize who you truly are is like the least you can do, you could say. It's like, that's the least. You want to know who you are, right? If you don't know who you are, what are you then? A human being? No, you're not a human being. And in your behavior, you appear to be a human being. Well, that's a dilemma. That's something that is like conflictual immediately. You experience yourself as a human being in a world with limitation. Now, what isn't right about this story is that none of that is actually so. And the funny part of it is that you actually know this. You have say, ideas about perfection, abundance, total recognition, love, to mention one. It's like you have perfect ideas of perfect love. There's nothing wrong with those. It's like they actually exist. They actually are yours. It is actually what you are. But how do you get to the experience of that? And so here, the Rebirth Sessions is really the possibility, you could say, to come to a rebirth, because you cannot intellectually bring yourself to the place where you are experiencing your perfection, no matter how hard you try. And you know as well as I do how much we have tried to talk ourselves into perfection, to talk ourselves into, say, beautiful, perfect spiritual ideas, but still maintaining on the mental sphere and, say, encountering limitation and yeah, pain, sorrow, guilt. So these things are really what these sessions are for, to recognize, to rebirth, to, yeah, in fact, practice the dying daily, becoming still in such a way that all your ideas about yourself quiet down, so that there is space for something else to come into your consciousness, recognizing that that is the actual you, as you know yourself. And in fact, practicing this one moment in which that becomes, yeah, in which that is already true. The one moment which is whole and perfect, that has nothing to do with time at all, and nothing to do with development, nothing to do with a process or with steps into coming to know yourself. It's like, no, that doesn't work that way. So the rebirth is a spontaneous occurrence, like not under your conscious control. It is a spontaneous occurrence, and it is your entitlement. It is yours. It is for you, because recognizing what is actually going on is that you are acknowledging more and more on a daily basis that there is nothing outside of you that can hurt you, that can influence you, that can attack you, that can, like, that is an impossibility in itself. You start to come to know that. You start to discover, oh my God, it starts right here. Yeah. So that is the perfect place, you could say, for a change. See, we have ideas, as, say, coming from a human standpoint, you have ideas about changing the world or changing your environment, changing your, maybe a husband or wife, maybe changing your circumstances, changing all these things. And you think it has to do with actions that you have to make, that you have to, say, yeah, develop, you could say, giving everything to that. But that is not the way it will ever work. So coming back to an actual recognition of, oh, wait a minute, if I'm the source of, of what I'm perceiving, it must actually be that that it starts with me. So that also means that if I change my ideas about myself, or I, say, literally let go of all my ideas that I hold about my world and myself, something can fundamentally change. And I'm not sure what I'm going to see then, but and I'm not sure if I want that right away, but more and more I start to discover that I know for sure that I don't want this. I don't want to live in a street with not knowing my neighbor, or somebody was shot in my street, or somebody died just in front of me, or something happened here, something happened there. I don't want that world any longer, to perceive this in this way. I don't want to be, say, I don't want to lose the ones that I love. I don't want to live with an idea of chronic pain, or with abuse, or with limitations of whatever kind. I don't want that any longer. So the pain that I'm experiencing in that, and the fear that I experience in being consciously, say, helping myself as good as I could to sustain myself, I'm actually totally sick and tired of that. Now these are some of the steps that we certainly take a look at in the Rebirth Sessions. So, see, I'm still introducing it. That's interesting, isn't it? And it will always be an introduction to a certain extent. Um, so it's like all these things that we think we have to do, and we keep doing them until we see that they have no effect whatsoever, and doesn't take away the pain, doesn't take away the fact that you can lose the ones you love or anything like this. Like, one way or another, this whole picture is not right. There's something not right about it. Because if there is a whole loving God, complete loving God that created me as his one son, whole and perfectly created me, and I'm seeing all the limitation, lack and pain and you name it, then there is something not right in this picture. So there has to be a way to come to know the truth that I am. Now this is our healing moment together. This is one day at a time. This is, well, at least let's take a look at today. And we're actually first becoming still with that idea. So in the Heart of Mysticism of Joel, in the first chapter, Joel shares at the end of the chapter one Sanskrit proverb. Like it is in prayer, a day prayer, say starting your day prayer from Sanskrit, from the Buddhistic culture, you could say. But he puts it in there, and Master Teacher has used it many times. I've used it many times too in our sessions, but I love to share it because it is such a great way to start your day. So if you didn't have a morning prayer yet, this could really be one. And at least we're going to use it now to become still and to really become, in fact, like mindful to this moment in time and that we meet, or that we're actually coming to this place together of, we don't know what the next step is. We don't know how to do any of this, but I know there must be an alternative. It's called the salutation of the dawn. Yeah, Sanskrit proverb, it's mentioned too. It's the salutation of the dawn. Look to this day. And it's good to relax and breathe. Say, relax your shoulders, just sit comfortably. We're not doing anything. It will come to you spontaneously. You don't have to work it or something. It's like, no, complete relaxation. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. I'll repeat it once more. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day.
Regardez ce jour, car c'est la vie même de la vie. Dans son bref cours se trouvent toutes les vérités et réalités de votre existence. Le bonheur de la conscience, la gloire de l'action, la splendeur de la beauté. Car hier n'est qu'un rêve et demain n'est qu'une vision. Mais aujourd'hui, bien vécu, fait chaque hier un rêve de bonheur et de chaque demain une vision d'espoir. Regardez bien donc à ce jour.
Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Thank you so much for joining in the meditation. And in fact, this is offering the solution. I'm offering you the solution. It's like the solution to what? Well, the solution to the perceived problem or the perceived thing that still is going on. What is that solution? It's like, yeah, it's not explainable. It is, no concept will do that. No intellect will actually support it. But it's an actual experience. It's like this is where we're pointing at continuously. Your experience of communication will set you free of all of this. Will set you free of any kind of perceived limitation. And the only thing that is left then is your gratitude. It's like, oh God, I don't have to be who I thought I was. Oh my God, what an incredible release. And that's the best news I got. It's like, I don't have to be the one that I think I am. Oh, it was so great. That's so lovely. And yeah, so that can be, say, perceived as an offense. If you think that you are someone that can manage itself and that's autonomous and that does better than the neighbor, then this might be not good news to you. But it's like the deflation, you could say, of this personality is really where your salvation lies. It's like, no, it has everything to do with the thing that I think I am. I know I'm doing this to myself, and apparently there is no solution. I tried to fix that, and I tried to deal with it as much as I can. I talked it over with whoever, but it did not change yet. It doesn't seem to change. Well, see, this character, this personality, this thing that you think you are is never going to be better. It's never going to be fixed, you could say. It's never going to be the thing that you want it to be. And the attempts of you to try to perfect this image or try to perfect this entity that you think you are is what keeps you busy, is what keeps you suffering, is what keeps you in change of limitations. That's why we say it is a rebirth. It is a rebirth. There's an absolute possibility to wake up out of this, say, sense of limitation. And I tell you this, is like, if I can do it, anyone can. Anyone can. And that's, of course, easy for me to say, but it is really true. So I want to bring you to one of the expressions of one of us here that shared this just a moment ago. I'm actually going to watch this with you. It is a short video, and I'm just going to share that with you. All right, so I'm going to use this idea. Like, this is very practical, right? So you see all the expressions of fear, limitation, anxiety, is like, oh, world problems, oh my God, it's getting too much. And so it is like, wait a minute. Now we see a landscape, now we see a bridge, now we see just somebody standing there. It's like, if that would be my image of, say, my liberation or my freedom, it would be a sad image. It's like objects there, stones, noise in the sky, noise in the air, noise by the water. It's like, yeah, oh my God, now what to do? You know what to do? Where it's like, yeah, this world is not going to change. See, I can come into this experience like this and thinking like, well, this is the world that I know. Yeah, it's hopefully I have a good day today, and I hope the best of it, you know. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so without your joy, this day is lost. This day would be lost. Without your joy, this day would be absolutely have no sense, makes no sense whatsoever in all eternity, in all the universe. It would make no sense to experience your day without your joy. It's like just pure depression, just pure horizontalism, just pure 3D, just pure 3D experience of form of this and that. And that you know so well. You think that that's normal. You think that you need to suffer. You think that that's necessary for you to actually be here. Well, that's just part of it, is what you tell me. It's like, that's just part of it. It didn't change. It didn't do anything. It's like, okay. Without your joy, without recognizing what is actually given you, you will not see anything else. You will not experience, in fact, the release of your self-identity, because literally you choose for your investment in this limitation, in this whole thing. You know, it's like you made it compact. You really think that a rock is a rock, and a bridge is a bridge, and a body is a body. You really think that that is your world. And see, here, in fact, in this short video that you just saw, which is like a beautiful example of it, you see, it comes to life literally by your joy. What is moving you to be joyous? That principle that's behind your joy is what life is. And you can't fake that. It is what it is. It is pure. It's coming from within. It's unstoppable. And you only want to add your joy to it. It's like, that's one of the principles. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, that recognition, you could say, is not of this world. That recognition, you don't have to look for it in this world. But here's the thing that is essential in the whole rebirth that we're undergoing, you could say, or that we're offering to one another, is that your joy changes your whole world. Your joy is that principle that transforms your dream. And that's a temporary occasion. It's like that is temporarily the most important thing for you, to learn how to, in fact, connect with yourself, bring your joy and light into this world, and see that that's the life principle of you. It's like there's no other thing for you to do here than to give that continuously in every possibility, like never confirming anything else but this, you could say. Like being aware that this is your day. Look to this day. This is your only day. You're going to give that. Yesterday is but a dream. Tomorrow is not there yet. It's just a vision. It's like, might happen tomorrow. This might happen. But you know for sure, today, this is it. So that's why I say, like, today is really like one day at a time. Your experience of a great, say, release today would be fantastic. Not that you can, say, make that happen. No, it is just based on willingness, just based on, yes, I would love that to happen. And I'm open for any kind of change. I don't care how that is looking. I don't care how that is looking. I will at least try not to define how that should come to me and how that should look, because I know that I'm still putting it then into a frame, into a limitation already. I think that healing must come to me this way, with those words, with that teacher, with this, you know, all the descriptions that you give to yourself, consciously or not, of how to receive the healing that you can undergo right now without any problem. You can receive this now. You don't have to wait. So today is the best day to let that occur. Sometimes you have to get into action, into giving, into active giving, just like that. Just get over yourself and do it. It's a bit like this. And not that you have to force yourself, but you know that, like, resistance is not going to work either. Some reminders. What has been given you? The knowledge that you are a mind, in mind, the mind of God, and purely mind, sinless forever, wholly unafraid, because you were created out of love. Nor have you left your source, say you're the effect of it, remaining as you were created. This was given you as knowledge which you cannot lose. It was given as well to every living thing, for by that knowledge only does it live. So it's like this was given you as knowledge which you cannot lose. It is the principle of love, of life. It was given you as well to every living thing, for by that knowledge only does it live. So it's a life principle. I love this one. Let me see. Oh yeah, here's another one. And this is based on today's lesson in the Course in Miracles that I use here because of the fact of the joy. You are indeed essential to God's plan. Without your joy, His joy is incomplete. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. While you are sad, the light that God Himself appointed as the means to save the world is dim and lusterless. And no one laughs, because all laughter can but echo yours. See, this is another great expression, a great reminder. It's like, oh yeah, don't forget here, you are indeed essential to God's plan. So what do you need to do for that? Well, without your joy, His joy is incomplete. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. While you are sad, the light that God Himself appointed as the means to save the world is dim and lusterless. So here's a description of you as the light in this world. And no one laughs, because all laughter can but echo yours. So that's another essential expression. So here's one more. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Joel says it this way. God is the one and only infinite consciousness, the all good. My consciousness and everything within the realm of my consciousness is God governed, God maintained, God sustained, God fed. God, divine consciousness, is the substance of all form. There is no evil form, there is no destructive form, no harmful form, no injurious form, for God is the substance of all form. So that's from the parenthesis in eternity, page 281. So this is another one. So very, very deep, very essential, very fundamental. God is the one and only infinite consciousness, the all good, like a good without an opposite. Now this is what I wanted to share. It's like that's a good without an opposite. And because the whole thing is that when you trust your perception, you trust the ways that you see, you always see opposites. It is good, it is bad, it is not quite good, it's not so bad. It is, how is your day? Well, it's not so bad. Or, you recognize this. Or, how did you sleep? Well, it was okay. See, there's like, well, that's on a scale, that's on a scale. In your description of yourself, it will never be perfect. While in your experience of truth, it is automatically perfect. So this is how you recognize it to be true. It's like there's no opposite to the love of God. So do you experience that? Are you familiar with that experience? The love of God. It doesn't know an opposite. It loves unconditionally. It has not special ones that it loves. No, it is love itself. It is the principle of love itself. See, and that doesn't fit in your intellect. It doesn't fit in your ideas about yourself, because you say like, well, I have no idea what that means, because it's like there's always something, you know. If I look at the friends that I have, if I look at the love relationships I have, there's always something that doesn't seem to make it perfect. There's always something missing. It's like, exactly. So don't try to perfect that. Don't try to make that work, because it will not work. It will never work. It doesn't have to work. It is made, literally, it is made not to work. Now, so far you have saved yourself, if you accept what I'm sharing with you, you've saved yourself another 2,000 years of suffering. And this is really true, because you try to make it work up to the point that you don't do it, but up to that point you're still doing it. I can tell you something, you can pick it up and say like, oh yeah, I'm going to try that. To what? Why? Why are you going to try it? See, the reason that you try things is to make it work. So you try to apply it into your limited perspective of yourself, and that is never going to work. That's why this is a rebirth session. It's like, it comes to the point that you see, no, there's not anything going to work here in my limited ideas about myself. The only question is, am I done? Like, is this enough? Do I have enough pain? Do I actually admit to myself, I don't want any of this. I want the alternative to come to me. I want to know who I truly am, and I don't care how anything looks. So that's where something, say, shifts automatically. And so how do you know if it's working or not? Like, what will be your confirmation? Well, the confirmation is that you suddenly feel a joy that is not of your own making, so to speak, that has no reason for it except its very being in what you experience. It is just what it is, and you recognize that to be yourself. You know what it is. So it's like you enter into a place in your consciousness where you experience that as whole. You literally enter into a moment of wholeness. You have no question about that experience. Up to that point, you still will wonder, is this it? Is this really what that is? It's like, no, that's not what it is. Otherwise, you would not question it. So it is completely free of doubt. It is completely free of guilt. It is completely free of any kind of limitation. For just a second, you experience that. And it's your entitlement. It's like literally you're entitled to that. It is saved for you, in other words. It is how this universe functions. It cannot do it without your recognition of this. Otherwise it would be a gray, depressed, contracted place. And you already know that this world looks like that. If you look at it with your human eyes, you see a world like that. You all are already in hell, in other words. So your rebirth will take place right here. But the resurrection of you, or the rebirth of you, will elevate your consciousness to a place that you didn't recognize before, but that you do recognize when you're in the experience. So that is the rebirth that we're talking about. So it's not trying to make your life better. It's not trying to get rid of anything. It's not trying to perfect your dream or fix your problems. You know this. It's like, that's not how this works. It doesn't stop me from trying to do that. Up to the point that I really give that up. Then I have a chance of experiencing this rebirth. Yeah, that's just the principle of it. So first, so this is the first session. So it's like, first, it is essential that you recognize how deep in it you are. And in it, I mean, into your limited ideas about yourself. You think you don't need to take another look at that because you experience it every day. Otherwise, you would not be here. So it's like you experience your limitation, okay, but now still we're actually, say, giving you a chance to dive even deeper into that for just a moment, to recognize, oh yeah, these are really my things here. So I put up a list. The last time I put up a list and said like, okay, pick 3 of them, and that's already very limited, just 3, because you probably have much more that you relate to as a limitation that you perceive yourself into. Now, the fact that I did this was not to keep discussing this or to keep working at this or to keep evaluating it or looking for the cause. Why is this happening to you or anything like this? So you're free, set free of that right away. And that's probably not acceptable to you. You would love to work on those problems because you have done that so much. It's like you did an incredible investment in trying to make it work and trying to fix your problems, trying to get rid of your pain. Right? I know that. Fixing the problem is not going to be the solution. I can pick my 3, so to speak, from the list of, say, resonating ideas. But the only way to really work with it is in fact to let those ideas go and not do anything with it. And one other thing, of course, is recognizing in what description of myself am I experiencing these problems or these limitations? Where am I actually perceiving that? Like, where is this actually taking place? And so you have a choice of 2. It's like, am I actually experiencing this in my, say, limited description of myself as the personality that I think I am? That's probably a yes. Or am I experiencing this in the total recognition of the truth of who I am? And then you say, like, no, that I don't think that's the place where I encounter those problems. No, that's right. That's right. So now what? See, I still didn't get you out of your dilemma, is what you think. But here's the thing. So recognizing that you see these limitations in a place that is, say, total part of your description of yourself as how you see yourself, makes the problem, in fact, unsolvable. And so now what do you do then? Well, your admission that it is unsolvable gives you, say, the space in your consciousness for an alternative. And that sounds like impossible that could work, but actually you never tried it completely. Otherwise you would see that it worked. So the place where I perceive my problem is actually not the place where it can be solved. So there must be, in my admission of that, in fact, is the alternative already given, because I decide, no, I'm not going to solve it here. I'm not going to fix it here. I'm stepping back out of this altogether and allow a change to occur that I don't know of. Otherwise I would have done it. I cannot do that myself. Now that has to be given me, and I'm willing to receive that. Now this is exactly the healing spot where the rebirth can take place. So, yeah, how to move from here, from this point on? I don't know exactly. We'll see. So we're going to have a non-public part in this meeting, and that is starting right now. So I'm actually closing this down as for the video that we're making of this, the public video. So I'm stopping right here and thank you for your attention and hope to see you soon. Well.